Crypto, right? Or is
Yeah.
this
How about that crypto?
I was like this is the crypto episode, not X-Men, right?
This is the crypto episode, yes. The
Okay.
the X-Men episode, I feel like we need to be in the same room because it will
Yeah,
be
I
quite
agree.
quite the spirited debate. Plus, I can't let this thumbnail go to waste.
No, it's fantastic. All right. Um, I know you're doing audio check.
We're good. Which, by the
All right.
way, this podcast is brought to you by another podcast, the Part of Your Broadway World podcast. We'll talk about them a little bit later. But right now, talking about crypto and the seeming resurrection that, unless you're in the know, nobody's really talking about. Like people that follow crypto know what's going on, but like I didn't even click. I saw a headline about a month ago. No, I think it was a little over, but it said Bitcoin soars above 66,000, and I'm like, wasn't that the peak? And sure enough, it was.
Of Bitcoin? What was it?
I believe so. I think
Oh
prior to now,
yeah.
obviously, because it's is it
Well,
hit 70
it
yet?
shot up from a very significant amount. Like what was it sitting around 20,000 before
It
the
it
like
it had
initial.
it had steadily bumped up a bit, but I believe it almost doubled, and it wasn't overnight, but it was very quick.
Oh yeah.
Which
Um
there's a halving that's supposed to take place this year anyway, but I don't think it's happened yet.
well, that's for the algorithm for mining.
Yeah, but still, it still will make the value of Bitcoin go up.
Yeah.
That's the whole premise behind the concept. Ironically, something that the federal government doesn't seem to understand because guess what's the opposite of inflation?
Deflation.
And how does one achieve deflation? Less supply.
Just an FYI for anyone watching, I'm not fidgeting because like anything else I don't know. I pinched a nerve or something.
Or something.
Yeah.
He sat on his Bitcoin.
Yeah, and I couldn't hold out. I had to take a gummy. So,
Well, but I mean, I was just looking. I've been kind of. I haven't bought any new crypto yet, but I was happy because thanks. Oh, I went up a few bucks. Went from 132 to 140 in my total portfolio.
my pit bull, it went from like 30-40 bucks in the last month to 178, like dollars. Not I have my pit bull token. I literally have I think 195 million or billion dollars.
Yeah, let's see. My Shiba, I have 2,310,028.2 tokens for a grand total of $73.33 at its current value. But
That's okay.
well, and what a lot of so this is something that I learned is that the meme coins are not tied directly to Bitcoin, but they're kind of tied very much indirectly to Bitcoin, as is a lot of cryptocurrencies out there. Generally speaking, they're somehow in terms of their value, and correct me if I'm wrong because you know more about crypto than I do. I'm still
Something like
very
that.
I'm still very skeptical. They're market drivers. Bitcoin and Ethereum are the two main market drivers, and Ethereum, even to a point, is not. It's not directly tied to Bitcoin at all, but it's still Bitcoin basically controls the market. Now, there's a couple of examples of anti-Bitcoins, kind of like how Shiba was supposed to be the Dogecoin killer, but now they pretty much run neck and neck unless Elon Musk says something.
Yeah. You can hear me okay, right?
I can.
Okay, I'm just saying because I don't have the mic too close to my face.
Just kicking my camera and
Um,
everything.
yeah.
But that being said, so yeah, I'm looking, and for the most part, of course, the basic attention token is down, but that's a whole thing in and of itself. It's barely a crypto. It's almost more like a gift certificate, but I guess technically it is a
It's
cryptocurrency.
nice though because you can tip creators with it.
Yeah, they still do that. And then the thing that I learned when all this crypto stuff, although Dogecoin's up almost 15%, and Bitcoin is currently sitting at $70,816
Yeah,
per Bitcoin.
Dogecoin, what is it at? It's at like
It's at
22
22
cents.
cents.
Yeah, my do well, I still have some Doge. I literally had a wallet. I forgot I had Trust Wallet and I forgot all about it. And I literally was my old phone was on my desk and I plugged it up and turned it on and I was looking at all the wallets I had and I had 250 bucks in one. I was like, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. The thing of it is though, is this is now inspired. I'm gonna start paying attention to like I play crypto extremely safe. You were always much more daring than I was. But I'm gonna be paying attention to Coinbase because I would like to remind everybody, Coinbase gives you free money.
Yeah. I
In fact, I
literally made
I
like 15
turned
bucks off them last week.
well, what did I do? I turned roughly $20 into $70, and had I
That was during the bull run.
yeah, but well, it
No,
actually
no,
would
I'm
have been
saying that was cool.
well, but okay, so here and again, I've laid out my crypto strategy before. Like, I'm not going to get rich, but boy, I wish I'd thrown into Bitcoin though. But
But
anyway, it's too well, it's not too late now, but I need to wait for it to dip again before I would get. But I don't. Well, you know what? It might not be too late. And when is the halving?
I don't. Well, one sec.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm actually set up that I wanted to do this so I could do this real time.
Yeah, because I'm not sure when
April
exactly.
19th, 2024.
God
So
damn. Okay, so that's
literally, yeah. So basically, the next block reward. So people who mine, um, when you mine, obviously, there's certain block rewards. I'm not going to be able to explain this properly, but
well,
anyway, so it's
give it the
go
old
from
community college
6.25
try.
bit. Well, yeah, basically, it's going to go from 6.25 Bitcoin to 3.125. So basically, when people are using their ASIC miners, and I'm pretty sure people aren't mining with GPUs anymore for Bitcoin, that would just be stupid. But yeah, their ASIC miners only mine so much coin, and for every 6.25 coins they mine, they only get half.
Yep.
It's kind of lame.
So you're doubling the computing power for half the reward now, but that's by
That it's
design
literally
because
taking away the incentive for Bitcoin, if you really ask
well, but
me.
the, well, it's taking away the incentive to mine, but that's sort of the point, and they this has been the case from the beginning. And what that does, though, ironically, is it's the next step in actually.
Hi, Haley.
Oh yeah, hi Haley. It's the step necessary
Yeah,
to actually turn Bitcoin into not I shouldn't say legitimate, into a what's the word I'm looking for? Into a more stable currency. Because
Mm.
right now Bitcoin is actually extremely
A
unstable.
stable coin.
Well,
I
not
mean, I mean, I
well, I mean, yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah, a stable coin. Not quite to the same degree because Bitcoin will never be tied directly to the dollar. Well, hopefully at least, knock on. Well, I don't really see how you could do it unless the government commandeered it.
right. Sorry, Haley.
Busy, we're looking up important stuff. But yeah, so basically, is it every 4 years or 8 years? I think it's every 4 years that there's a halving in Bitcoin until,
Bitcoin?
yeah,
Yeah, I believe so.
is it every
I can
4 or 8
actually.
years? I can't remember. I think it's every 4 years.
Wait a second. I'll look.
Ah, Rook is looking up information.
Every 4 years.
Every 4 years. Okay, I was right then.
Well, it says the Bitcoin halving is intended to counter any inflationary effects on Bitcoin by lowering the reward amount and maintaining scarcity.
Right.
However, this inflation protection mechanism does not protect Bitcoin users from the inflationary effects of the fiat currency to which it must be converted to in a used economy. In a
cor-
economy, not used. It's
Correct.
all a used economy, right?
Correct. Yeah. But the point being is that eventually the halving will get down to not absolute zero, but damn near zero. So no one will want to mine it anymore. It won't be worth it. And then the current supply of Bitcoin, unless they change it, which they may have to, but you can't get inflation if there's no more coin. You know what I mean? So they may have to increase supply um, because it will get too low and it will become prohibitively expensive to use it as a currency, although that would take a long time. So the I think the long-term goal, if I understand it correctly, is to eventually get the mining incentive down to zero so that, like, let's say I'm pulling out, let's say there's 10,000 Bitcoin on planet Earth. There's more than that, but I'm just using this. There, you will have no more than that number of Bitcoin. Therefore, the supply is the supply and it will always be in demand. Therefore, you won't have uh, inflation, basically. Now, like you just said, you'll have inflation on fiat currencies, but Bitcoin can actually be a really good way to curb inflation with fiat currencies. I don't think a lot of them will do it because, frankly, as we saw from the TikTok hearings, none of these fucks understand what's happening.
No,
I mean, I don't fully understand it. I understand a lot more than I did when I first started learning about it. But what I learned is basically 90% of crypto is not garbage, but it's,
shit coins.
yeah, it's, well, I'm not even going to say shit coins because there's this kind of thing that a lot of people are saying now that ironically they weren't saying in like 2019, 2020, where meme coins, they're saying meme coins are worthless. They're not, well, they're inherently worthless, but everything is worth something if somebody wants to buy it. So the
I,
key,
they're going off terms of utility alone, like in the crypto space. Like
correct,
literally,
correct.
that's why they call them worthless coins. It's not that they can't have value to someone because one man's trash is another man's treasure.
Right. Well, it's not even that. So like it's
One
kind of
man's
like
Shiba
how
is another man's Doge.
yeah, but it's kind of like the first ever bubble that burst was actually tulip bulbs in the Netherlands. They don't have any utility other than people like them. But then, oh man, it's a whole thing. Read it. Oh, it's
What
fascinating.
bulbs?
Tulip bulbs, like the flowers.
What
They,
what are those? What are those one bulbs? Edison bulbs. Like you ever seen hipsters that's what they're all about is having Edison bulbs.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
that's kind of gone away because ironically, Edison bulbs, at least, well, they've come out with LED versions of Edison bulbs, so you can still
Mm,
get the aesthetic. But actual Edison bulbs, like they were super hot, and they were also super hot and hugely energy inefficient. So they didn't really last that long.
good
Because
heaters.
people realize, yeah, exactly. It's probably a
Like I
more
got
efficient.
electric heat. Like what's electric heat? I got light
I got
bulbs.
Edison bulbs.
Yeah, Edison bulbs.
I thought that was just so funny when that happened though, because this was right as, well, not right as, because they've been getting rid of incandescent bulbs for some time now, but this was right when LED bulbs kind of had become like the new standard. It's like, yeah, you don't really have to replace your old bulbs, but if you need a new one anyway, you might as well get an LED. And then Edison bulbs came out and everybody's like, oh my God, Edison bulbs. And then somebody I think was kind of like, wait a minute, this is dumb. So you think 60 watts going to kill the planet, but this thing that's like almost a fucking nuclear reactor is somehow like it's hot, dude. Like if you're changing that bulb, you need to let it cool for a bit. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, tulip bulbs. So, they started doing futures on tulip bulbs, and it became this whole thing. So where you weren't even actually, it was actually the first instance of like a share of stock. Well, not really share of stock. It was more like future, like farm futures, where like if you invest in corn now, you're not investing in the corn that's already been farmed. You're investing in the corn from the next season, and its value is tied to the yield, right? So you would actually buy stake in tulip bulbs that had not even been created yet. And I'm shocked. Why has no one created a tulip coin just as a joke?
Probably
Is it
did
out there?
a long time ago.
Nah, you look for that. Is that a thing? Does that exist?
Wait a
Because it
sec.
should.
Hold on. All right.
Especially if you can get different varieties of tulip coin. It would purely be a joke. But then again, Dogecoin started out as a joke, so
Yeah, but it really took off. I had a buddy that actually got in with point zero zero like I think 0.0003. He got in and he bought like thousands of them and he ended up making $100,000 and bought a house with it.
see, I really do think I'll be honest, I think that's gonna be my I think that's going to be my main strategy when it comes to crypto. Because, like, let's be real. If you're playing, but here's the problem, though. So I'll go into the problem and why that strategy I think will work, which is why I rely on somebody like you with more expertise. Because the problem I ran into with Shiba is that in order to buy it, it wasn't on a main exchange yet. So in order to buy it, I had to go on a real shady exchange, which is legit.
Gate.io.
It's legit, but here was the problem. At the time, I did not have enough Shiba to be able to trade it out. So in order to get it out, I would have had to spend like another, I think it was going to be like another $150 to buy more Shiba, and then they take a commission on it. So I get it. Like I hadn't even tried, so it was weird. It's now in Coinbase. Uh, I didn't even think to try it, but you had said something. I'm like, fuck it, I'll try it. Maybe it'll, and it let me this time. So, but yeah, I think something like that where you have to get in super, super early and just kind of hope that it takes off. But the good news is if you have spare income, I mean, yeah, like if you put in a few $100 into like a brand new coin that, and if it takes off, like even if it, like if you get in at the right price, even if it's still, if it goes from like whatever hundredths of a cent to a penny, you could still stand to make quite a bit of money.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
it's
I
kind of,
didn't remember
it's,
XRP.
I didn't make shit on XRP, dude.
I know, dude. Like what was it? It was like at least a week or two, and then I finally got you to get on the train, and then all of a sudden you were having troubles trying to buy it. Remember because
No,
whatever
I
what
was hedging.
Coinbase,
I was
huh?
hedging on buying it.
Oh, well, because the thing is, I was like, dude, get in now, get in now. And then literally I think I ended up making like 500 or 600 bucks off of it.
Yeah, I got in way too late. But that's what I'm saying. That was the flaw in my strategy because I was waiting until it was safe. But I think the key is, I'm gonna
That's not a
invest
bad
in,
strategy though.
but it's not a bad long-term strategy, but
Exactly.
you're not gonna get rich quick on it, is what I'm saying. So I think if you're into crypto, like what I would like to start doing here shortly, I think I will put some money
Gosh,
in. Do what?
I need a haircut. I'm sorry. Go
Oh.
ahead.
I like in a perfect world, I would like to put some money into Bitcoin, just not necessarily, almost treat it more like a money market account than anything, although it's more volatile, which I guess at that point, why not just do a money market account? Like that's the
I
thing.
mean,
Every time I think about crypto, I always tie it back to something you can do in fiat currency that's just safer,
mhm.
but the gains aren't as high. So like if you do like an index fund, you're on average 7 to 8% return
Well,
on
you
long
know, the
term.
dollar is never valued at a dollar. It goes up and down too, just like that, just not as volatile.
That's what
Like
I'm saying. In long term strategy, like I said, Bitcoin is not as volatile. Bitcoin's really not volatile if you look at the long term. In fact, it's downright good depending on when
well,
you got in.
this last pump was like huge and it was like
I
very
know, but
unexpected. They
if
expected
you
it to
look
go up, but
right, but what I'm saying is if you look at Bitcoin on like a 5 year track, you're sitting better, and you didn't leave your position. You're sitting better now than you were 5 years ago, is what I'm getting at.
oh yeah. Well,
Yeah. But the
some
nature
of
of
us.
crypto now is very much short-term trading strategy. Bitcoin's probably the exception. Um, but yeah, with those other coins, it's kind of like, yeah, I got some spare cash here. I'll throw it in here, and if it pumps, great, and if not, you know. But I
The
think
old pump and dump.
in crypto, it's legal still. Well, I shouldn't say it's legal. It's not
Well,
regulated.
it's not regulated. You
But yeah,
know,
you were talking back when we were looking at Bates Hustle University stuff. We were like, oh, we know what they're trying to do. They're trying to get a bunch of people to be able to do pump and dumps.
and honestly,
In crypto, it's not illegal.
well, that's what I'm saying. I'm yeah, in stocks, what do they call that? I mean,
It's a pump
uh,
and dump.
yeah, yeah, okay, yeah.
You
Just
get a
thought there
bunch
was
of
another
people
technical
you get a
term.
bunch of people that, no, that's the technical term. You get a bunch of people that you know to buy up a certain stock, and then when it gets high, you all dump out and sell. So that's
Okay,
quite literally what it is. It's pump and dump.
I did that with AMC. That
Well,
wasn't.
but you didn't do a pump and dump because the a pump and dump scheme is what you did was ride the wave, which there were indicators. And I don't. So a pump and dump to be illegal, technically, you have to have, it's basically insider trading. You have information, or and again, I could be wrong on this, but the way
Well,
I understand it,
I heard everybody was buying it. So the thing is, when everybody starts buying it all up, what happens? The price
That's
freaking skyrockets, and
Well,
then
and
they said
that's following a trend though. There and it's weird. It's very hard to enforce though, because in order to be found guilty of insider trading, you basically have to prove that this person had inside information, because otherwise they can just say, "Oh no, I rode a wave,"
that's what I'm
you know?
saying. I'm like, why hasn't anyone thought about this before? Just literally back in the 80s and
They
90s,
have.
just all getting. Oh yeah, what was Jordan
That
Belfort?
was what Jordan Belfort did. That was like their
No, no, no. He didn't get a bunch of people just literally just buy stuff. Like, not like,
Oh no,
okay.
that's absolutely what he did.
That's exactly what he did. Never
He got
mind.
his rat holes, as he called them, or at least in the movie. I think he still called them that. But yeah.
Was any of this legal? No.
Absolutely fucking not. Which
Oh,
actually,
absolutely not.
well, Mr. Belfort took issue with that because he claims that the vast majority of business, which I agree, I kind of believe him when he says
A
this,
lot of the stuff he did was okay.
virtually all of it. Now
Yeah.
he had his schemes, yeah, and some dubious sales practices, but not technically illegal. Um, which again, a lot of times these financial laws come about because somebody does something, they're like, oh shit, there's a flaw in that market, so now we need to, you know, that's why IPOs are so heavily regulated, because prior to people actually figuring out, it's like, oh, well, we set the initial price, so let's just have a bunch of our friends buy it. And
Steve
then,
Madden. Steve
Steve,
fucking Madden.
I'm going to suck you off, Steve. Oh, yeah. All right. So, what did you say your pit bull did?
It was a huge increase. I don't have my other phone. I don't have my other phone. I left it in my other car. No.
Now, Pitbull, because I was going into an idea, and I think
Pitbull
Pitbull does
token.
this. Yeah, but Pitbull Token also, they donate some money for Pitbull rescues and
Oh
all this,
yeah.
don't they? Yeah, so that,
They do a lot with the Pitbull community.
well, but see, here's the thing though. So that token has a utility. It's a charitable one, but it is a utility.
Hmm.
So I can
Yeah,
see
unlike
people,
Doge.
yeah, basically, yeah. But here's the thing. So the thing about Pitbull is, like, I'd almost invest in it because A, I could potentially make some money, and B, it helps pit bulls.
Well, I'm going to tell you what right now, Pitbull token was actually just listed as a safe token now
Hmm.
on a few exchanges. Like, they said it's a safer coin to invest in. So the thing is, like, I would definitely recommend anyone, like, if you got a little spare cash, I'd invest in Pitbull because honestly, it could 5x,
Ooh.
maybe 10x your money,
So I'm looking at interesting. We're in a very high
And
period.
it's a deflationary token. So basically, anytime anyone buys I'm sorry, not buys, but anytime anyone sells, the gas fees are literally burned away every single time anyone makes a transaction. So it's like that's really awesome. So eventually, this stuff's going to be worth quite a bit,
I'm
and
I'm looking at this thing. Oh, so hang on, their
it's a good
volume.
coin. Buy a bunch, forget about it. Pay
Yes.
attention every now and then. Check in every
Bec
6 months.
Well, because check this out. Over from year to date, it's up almost 100%. And that's so funny. When it started out, it was at its highest ever.
That's how a lot of these tokens work. They come
Right.
out, they come out, and then they get this fake pump because of all the people who are actually a part of the program.
So, but here's the funny thing. I'm looking at the trend here. Guess what its second highest was?
What?
November of 2021. Then the
Yep.
next highest was, come here, you fucker, was March of 2022.
Yeah, that's when I remember it shot up then because I had $20 go from 20 to like 500.
I literally think I might, let's see, do I want to trade or do I want to buy? I'll look at that later. But yeah, so this is funny because now I wish I'd gotten in onto it sooner, but hindsight's 2020, right? But it's still very low. And if this token could get a reputation for really helping pit bulls, the dogs, I think this thing could skyrocket. But again, that's based on the utility.
Well, let me so I have 195 or 198 billion of these tokens. Just let me give you an idea. If it gets to 0.0000006, I'm a multimillionaire.
Yeah, I think. How much did you put in initially, if you don't mind my asking?
I think our initially I only had $20. And
Yeah, I
then
know
when
you
it
pumped in
when it
some more.
pumped, when it pumped, I put in more, and I ended up putting in, I think, another $200.
That sounds
And
right. I seem to remember that.
currently, yeah, I was upset with that. Like, yeah, but I mean, it is what it is. I had like $700 in it, and then it popped, shot back down to. At one point, it got to like $40. I was like, oh man.
That's what happened to me in my Dogecoin. I had bought like $200 worth of Dogecoin and it went down to fucking 80. I was like, but
And you
like
bought at the
within,
high too, didn't you?
I didn't buy at the high, but I bought too late. It went up a bit high. I should have fucking sold it, but
I did the same thing with AMC. I did make money on AMC,
well, that's what
but
I'm
I
saying.
didn't sell at the highest.
Yeah. So, well, but you can never know if it's the highest, right? But I'm looking at it
Exactly.
this way.
I
Let's
had
say that,
10K off of $500. I should have fucking sold.
but like, I rode the Coinbase wave. I told you about that. Unfortunately, I got greedy. I think I had like $25 worth of crypto on my Coinbase account at that time. And I watched Badger coin ride up like well over 100%. I think it was riding like a 400% ride.
Damn.
I, I, my 20, I think I put 20 in it. 20 went to about 85 and then it went down, but then it went back up and then it went down and then it went back. I should have just sold there, but I got greedy. I wanted to ride that wave, but I could have made like quadruple my money.
But
Again, that's
you
little,
want to
but
you don't want to hear about greed. I took $1,000 and literally put it into that staking online website. I ended up only getting back $300 of that. So
yeah, I found one. So the moral of the story here though is be very careful with crypto because I think I showed you that site a long time ago, that cloud mining site. And dude,
mhm.
I knew it was bullshit, man. I knew it was bullshit. I ended up putting 20 bucks in it just to see because $20 was the minimum that you could put in. I was just like, I mean, it says my
I
balance is
mean, you
going
got to
up.
know if it's real.
That's what I said. I had 20 bucks that I did not need, and I looked at it this way. I'm like, if I set this $20 bill on fire, it wouldn't change my life. But on the 1 in a million shot, this is legit. I know it works, right? So sure
Yeah.
enough, it's bullshit. But fun fact, they actually I don't know if it's still open, but they opened the site back up at one point.
You can rent hash power and
Yeah.
basically make money. But the funny thing is, for how much they charge, you don't make that
That's
in return.
that's just it. So this site had like an incredible return, and
Yeah.
you didn't actually have to you didn't they said you didn't have to invest money, but you would get that much more if you did. So I actually had an online buddy turn me on to it, and I told him, I said, man, I don't know, I don't- this seems shady. It seems too good to be true. And with crypto, if it's too good to be true, it is. But then you have the really scary ones like FTX. Like FTX
I
was a
I actually got on there
legitimate
and day traded for a little bit. It was
that
sus because
well,
they have an
yes and
option.
no.
Well, no, was it FTX?
Well,
No, I don't
FTX
think it
was
was
a legitimate
FTX.
FTX was a legit exchange.
Hold on, I'm trying. You go ahead, but I need to remember.
Or at least because FTX was the one that back when Hustlers University, that was they told you to use FTX. I think they're staking. I think they let you get away with a little bit more staking because again, it's not regulated. So I mean, it wasn't illegal, but and I don't even know exactly what happened with that. I just know that they defrauded a bunch of people.
Okay, so in crypto news, apparently Sam Bankman-Fried was sentenced to 25 years ago, just 2 hours ago.
Now, was that the FTX guy?
Yeah.
That's
Mr.
hilarious.
Bankman, hold on.
Wait, his
Oh,
name
of
was
course,
Bankman?
stupid New York Times. You want to subscribe? No,
Oh, fuck.
no, I
Oh,
don't.
you know what? I didn't click who that was. I saw the headline come across on
PBS.
all sides.
Here we go. Bankman-Fried sentenced to 25 years in prison for massive FTX fraud. Former cryptocurrency mogul Sam Bankman-Fried was sentenced to 25 years. Okay, how many times you gotta say that? For what prosecutors said was one of the biggest financial crimes in the U.S. history. He apparently stole 8 billion from FTX customers. Holy shit! It's crypto. William Brangham discussed more with David Yaff Bellany of the New York Times. Read full transcript. I'm like Biden reading off the card, the cue card. Oh, my ass hurts. The former FTX.
That's what Bankman's gonna say.
Well, it's the same thing. Okay, yeah. So basically, he stole 8 billion from customers over the
But
time.
here's my question though, and I mean, this is a legitimate question. This isn't rhetorical.
Oh
How did
gosh.
he steal it? Is it that he took money that was in the exchange and used it to leverage his own positions?
Let me find out real quick.
Because
Let me see.
I mean, that, so technically speaking, I could see how that's illegal, but it's something that banks do every day. Because, like, I'm sorry, guys, when you deposit money in your savings and or checking account, the bank takes that money to make other investments. Now, granted, banking is much more regulated than this guy would have been, but
He pled guilty, so
well, yeah, I'm sure that was
no,
over like
so he
50
wasn't
years, but
apologized for committing crimes, but remains his position. He's saying that he hasn't committed any crimes.
that's what I'm saying. I want to know the details of what they're alleging because, and the reason I say this, I'm not defending the guy. I'm just saying that the government has demonstrated over and over and over again that they do not understand this technology. So they may have just been pissed that he was making a bunch of money. It's FTX. I was on FTX, dude. I didn't put any money into it. I never got that far. But I mean, I saw the exchange. I mean, from what I could tell, it was legitimate. And it was using data from all the, like, it was using data from the blockchain. Like, he
Trying
wasn't
this.
making shit up.
I'm assuming like what did he freaking collect gas fees or something?
Well, but again, he would have had to.
I mean, when you use an exchange, for the most part, when you do a crypto swap or exchange on that exchange, they have an exchange fee as well as gas fee, as well as there's all kinds of fees. When it comes to crypto, like you might as well just be an exchange. If you can get popular enough and be an exchange, you can
Well,
make
but
some money.
that's what he did, right?
Yeah, FTX, right?
Yeah.
I'm not.
Sorry, I'm looking up the
Yeah, I'm trying to find out what he what's the problem? Like, what did he do? One of these days. Thanks for having me. No clue. All right, let's see. What did? What's his name?
uh shit. What's his name?
Friedman.
Sam Bankman Reed?
Sam Bankman. Yeah, there we go. That's the first Google question. What did Sam Bankman Fried do? Oh, he was accused of misappropriating FTX customer funds to spend lavishly on luxury real estate investments and political donations. Prosecutors asked for a sentence of at least 40 years in prison. Misappropriating funds. So what does that mean?
So that it seems like I was right. It seems like he was taking money that was deposited into the exchange and then spending it himself. But he was banking on crypto performing well, and then when people withdrew, there would be enough money within FTX to pay them out. Here's the problem with that though. Banks do that every day. In
Damn.
fact, banks
Under
aren't even
federal rules, it says he's essentially most likely going to at least serve 21 years.
yeah, I know. And once again, I'm not defending him. Here's all I'm saying is that the banks are not required to have all their cash for their depositors on hand. They're required, I think it's 10% that they're required to have on hand, which is
Oh
why,
wow.
yeah, so it's one of those things where all things being equal, he did something that was dubious, but something that banks do every day. Now, the difference is, and I think this is where the difference lies now that I think about it, the owner of the bank can't take your money and buy real estate with it. There's a lot more regulation that goes into the investments the banks make, whereas he
Right.
didn't have any oversight for as an individual. So that I think is the difference. Because
I didn't.
I don't think anybody would have frowned on FTX as a company taking profits and making real estate investments. But
All right, hold on. usnews.com, US News and World Report. Apparently, they said he used the money to prop up his hedge fund, buy real estate, which we already knew that, and attempt to influence cryptocurrency regulation by making campaign contributions to US politicians and pay $150 million in bribes to Chinese government officials. He was put on trial in the fall of 2023. I didn't even know that. But so I mean, he was using other people's money to buy property. So yeah, that's pretty illegal to me. Because the thing is
Right.
they didn't um say yes to that, you know. They
Yes,
didn't
yes, and that's the difference I'm saying because like that's the difference is the bank takes depositors' money as a fund and uses it to make investments, but there's a lot of regulation and the
But
banks
this
have
is
to.
crypto, right? Okay, I think I kind of understand where you're coming from because the
I,
thing is, we don't have any technical laws against any of that, do
well, but
we?
here's the thing: I don't think he didn't take people's crypto. He took people's money. He took people's fiat currency that they deposited into the exchange.
To buy crypto, correct?
Right, but like let's
So the
so
thing is,
like
if they held on to that crypto, the exchange has to have, oh my gosh, the exchange has to have that amount of crypto. My hair is driving me nuts, dude. Anyway, and my ass is hurting. So the crypto has to have, all right, you're gonna have to talk for a second.
so I think what you're trying to say is like every crypto exchange has an option to hold US dollars or whatever your fiat currency is where
Yes.
you live. So I don't think there's a regulation for this, but you would just kind of have to trust the crypto exchange is that you're trusting that if you withdraw cash, as in dollars, to your bank account, you're hoping that the exchange has enough cash on hand, money on hand, to do the transaction, which most legitimate exchanges would because they wouldn't over leverage themselves. I think the problem is he was taking people's dollars that were in their accounts and spending it and then just hoping that if somebody's got 2 grand in their FTX account and they want to withdraw $1,000 of it, he's just hedging on the fact that FTX would have $1,000 for that transaction and then all of the transactions, and then he wouldn't have been found out. I think where he got in trouble was he overspent, and then when crypto dipped and everybody started trying to pull out, I I, I can imagine there was some BS about like we can't process your transaction right now. But if you recall, do you remember the Robinhood debacle with AMC? We talked about this years ago when it happened. And I'm like,
The
okay, so
GameStop too, right?
I know you're right. I think it was GameStop, not AMC.
Yeah, they didn't
Um,
have any problems with AMC. It was GameStop. They
it
shut
was
it down.
GameStop.
They
Yeah,
literally
exactly.
froze buying and selling. And it's like, oh, okay. That's really cool.
Yeah. Funnily enough, when too many regulators didn't get involved.
Regulators.
Well, and people understandably had a problem with that. I'm like, and of all platforms, Robinhood. Come on.
Man, dude.
Wouldn't it be interesting if there were investments that had an investment cap? This wouldn't work in capitalism, but it would be interesting if you had investments that had an investment cap where like you can only, and this sounds, never mind, that's dumb as shit. Why would you have an investment where you can only invest a certain amount of money? That's fucking stupid. Wow.
Socialism investing.
You
You're only
can
allowed to spend $27 and you're
you
only going to
can
make 28.
you can only own 8,000 rubles. Anymore, you are a dirty capitalist.
You're
And as
dirty
we
man.
know, and as we know, 8,000 rubles doesn't go as far as you think it does.
Oh, in my expertise, you'd be surprised. They go pretty far. I don't know how good that sounded on the
It
microphone.
it sounded pretty damn good.
I've been working on it.
Speaking of him, not to get off topic, I lost a little faith in RFK, man.
What do you say?
He didn't say anything. It's who he picked to be his VP.
Who?
I can't even remember her name. She's just a big donor. And I'm like, oh,
We all know VPs don't matter. So even if he gets
yeah,
in, it'll still be okay.
but I mean,
I'd be okay with an RFK presidency because honestly, he talks a lot of common sense. I don't care
I'm
for
not,
Democrats, but he's an independent now. So
I'm not, and maybe, and, okay, so it's purely an optics thing. Maybe he knows something about her that I don't. I'm sure he does. But to me, it just looks like he gave the slot to the person who donated the most money to his campaign. And that
oh,
looks really like I'm not saying he did that, but it looks like he did that. And that to me just looks, especially coming from him,
yeah.
it's kind of like I wouldn't be shocked at all if Biden or Trump did it.
Or maybe he's just picking someone who's a nobody because the thing is, I
Well, she's
mean,
like a
why doesn't the average person deserve it?
so here's my other more s- more optimistic theory. So she has a background in film production and media.
Mm.
So maybe this is somebody
Oh,
who this is somebody who is a very effective communicator. And here's the thing, if RFK does win the presidency, which snowball's chance in hell, but I mean, if he did, he's gonna because he has a lot of stuff that is not it sounds controversial when he first says it. So he's going to need somebody who's a very, very effective communicator and marketer to help him push his agenda. So maybe that's what we're looking at.
he needs
But
to be talking about crypto deregulation.
yeah, which I agree with. That's what I'm saying is if you
He would have so many people's votes from just that alone. Because the thing is, we already know the dollar shit because of
well,
how it's being freaking just spent and burned and
it needs to some of it needs to be burned, but that would help. But um I think
yeah,
I
don't pay
think
Congress a salary for a whole year and let every bit of that money go straight to the deficit. That won't happen.
well, no, it won't. That would require yeah.
I mean, they're all their fucking net worths are way up there, and they make $175,000 a year, so
Well, that's incentive structures. That's
that's
a
what
whole
crypto
different
was about in the first place, man, was sticking it to the man.
sticking it to the man. But
Even though that there's rumors that Bitcoin was created by not our government, but a government in general. I don't know which one, but and it's actually like not evil, but I don't know. It's like a tracking thing because the thing is, if like we
but
all go
it's
to Bitcoin, no, if we go to Bitcoin and that's how everybody pays, you have tracking transaction IDs. So the
mhm.
thing is, and you can ping that to anywhere and you'll know exactly where it came from. So it's very easy to ping from those transactions. You know where they are.
I suppose unless you used a VPN,
Well, I mean, not
then
all
you can't trace
VPNs
shit.
are 100%. So
Well, yeah, yeah, that's true. I mean, if you use an effective one, then
those ones that like market like 66% off and all this stuff, don't trust those. Like, I don't care what anyone says. Like,
well, the
just don't get
thing
on fucking shady websites. Like, what's wrong with you
well,
people?
okay, so here's the thing about
Unless you're just
VPNs
trying to
and
watch, certain Netflixes and
I think they're wisely so like I always laugh a little bit when I hear Ben Shapiro talk about whichever VPN he uses. And I'm like, you don't want the government. You don't want anyone tracking your websites. I'm like, I know you're not talking about that, but it sounds like you're talking about that. And I hate to break it to everybody. If this is a big company, I guarantee you, like let's just assume that somebody buys ExpressVPN. That's it. Let's say somebody buys a subscription to ExpressVPN with the sole purpose of, let's say they want to buy illicit things on the dark web and they want to use their VPN for that. Um,
Hmm.
Pretty sure the company still, even though they say they don't hold on to your data, pretty sure that if law enforcement came knocking, they could tell them exactly where you were.
And another thing is with crypto not being regulated and whatnot, like if the government wanted to, like they could just come in and kind of, I mean, essentially, unless you have your crypto completely locked down, like, a lot of people have hard wallets and whatnot, and they don't even keep it on their residence. Like that, it's somewhere else, in a lockbox somewhere. But like the government, if you really think about it, since it's not regulated, I mean, what's to stop them from forcing you to give them the key, taking your money, and then killing you?
So what'll
Oh
be
wait, that probably does happen.
what'll be really interesting though is if you start seeing, and it may have happened already, I'm just not aware of it. If okay, I'll use Trump as an example. Let's say that Trump, which by the way, I think the older millennial on TikTok said it perfectly. He's like, you know, the worst part about being a Trump supporter is all the winning. I'm just getting sick of it because his judgment got knocked way down. And this is like honestly surprised this happened because when the judgment and the bond that he had to pay went substantially down is also right after they did the merger, which I don't know if the merger's happened yet, but I know they announced it. It might still be in the works, but Trump is walking away with what, $4 billion in stock. the Truth Social merger.
Who are they
Yeah,
merging with?
I can't remember. It's some media company, but I think Trump made $4 billion.
I'm still on Truth Social. I need to, I need to get on there and I don't know, see if it's active or not. I
I
didn't
mean,
really care
it's
for
it's active. It's just a smaller social media site. But I mean, so this is on the eve of Trump literally becoming $4+ billion richer. And I do find that funny though, because people are like, "Oh, he doesn't have the money." I'm like, "Well, no, he probably doesn't have it liquid, but I mean, he can get the money. Like
He's got money.
he's got the
He's
money."
got wealth. He's got like I'm not gonna say all his stuff's tied up in assets, but the dude's
Well, a
got
lot,
money.
I'm sure a lot of it is, and they rightfully made the case that like, yes, we could liquidate real estate, but that's dependent on timelines. And as many people are pointing out, this is going to appeal. And unfortunately, like if you sell a bunch of real estate and then win the appeal, you can't get the real estate back.
All right.
So rightfully so. I agree with that. I think at least the bond, which we all know the judgment was way too high to begin with, but even if the judgment sticks, the bond at least should be substantially lower.
Dude, I wish we had AI so that like we could make a video that like says that no, actually you could do it. You can do Trump's voice. You could make a Trump thing and say, "Okay, I support Pitbull token. Buy into Pitbull." You
Actually,
imagine?
YouTube is now making you indicate whether or not you're using AI imaging or not, which I agree with.
That's smart. I like
It's
that.
well, I before long, see, it's funny. A lot of people were worried about that. I'm like, once it gets sophisticated enough, it's going to be required by law to designate it AI generated. It's going to.
Is it though?
Yes, well, as far as YouTube is concerned, which it's not by law yet, but I think that's wise.
I don't
I think
know. If Biden wins at the end of this year, I think all our Bitcoin's going to be going to the CCP.
nah, well, because here's the thing, like, okay, let's say the government wanted to take control of Bitcoin. Good luck. That's the whole purpose. It's completely decentralized. You can't. The worst you could do is ban it, but how could you effectively ban Bitcoin in the United States? Like it won't happen. You
You
like
can't. I mean, you can ban it, banks being allowed to like they'll lose their FDIC insurance.
yeah, but again, so that's it's
Hmm.
kind of a ban. It's kind of like how they're kind of banning TikTok because they're saying nobody is saying that you won't be able to have TikTok on your phone. They're just saying that if TikTok doesn't divest from its into an American company, that they're going to penalize Google, Apple from having it in their app stores. And like I was talking to Haley, so we can segue into the sponsorship. I was talking to Haley about I'm like, let's say they do it. Let's say they go through with it. All TikTok has to do is have a direct download for the app on TikTok.com. That's all they got to do. That's it. You can't.
Nothing you can do.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do. And there's tons of apps that do that because they don't want to mess around with Google and Apple in their app stores. Because Apple and Google take a commission on sales, I'm sure,
Oh yeah.
in exchange for
Yeah.
hosting. Now, TikTok can obviously afford that. So everybody who's freaking out about TikTok, first of all, I don't think this is going to go through because even let's say that Biden signs the bill. Let's say it even gets to his
Let
desk.
fucking Rumble buy it. God,
Well,
that would be
well,
amazing.
but here's the problem with that though. So
Maybe.
technically speaking, at least as far as I understand it, TikTok actually can't divest any of its Chinese interests, which, first of all, it doesn't have very much to begin with. But it technically can't because of the way Chinese law works. Like, they wouldn't be able to do it. So, there's tons of concerns about this. So, first of all, I question the constitutionality of that bill. And secondly, like I said, worst case scenario, you just have to do a workaround. Like, it's really not that big of a deal. Now, I agree, Rumble buying TikTok, but why? I would question why doesn't Rumble just start their own short form content that doesn't suck? Because it sucks.
How in the world can they afford? You know what? I just thought about that. How in the world can they afford to buy Rumble if they can't just revamp their own?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They should just revamp
platform.
their own short form
Yeah,
content.
because
Which
honestly, all they need is a good short form. Like past that,
you know
the
what I
videos and
honestly
whatnot have gotten better.
you know what I think the reason is though, honestly, it's because Rumble is very much, at least right now, Rumble is very much a right-leaning platform in terms of its content, and right-leaning content tends to not be in short form. It tends to be long form content. Now, not to say Rumble does have short form content, but I can't remember the actual numbers, but more right leaning people politically tend to watch longer form content statistically than
You know,
more left leaning people tend to prefer short term content.
I just thought of it just kind of blew my mind for a second. But without it's like no matter how much like bullshit goes on in our country between left and right, whatnot, you have to have both
Yeah.
because unfortunately, like the liberals and whatnot, like they're creative, they make movies, music, and stuff like this. Like not all of them are liberals. There are plenty of conservatives that play music and whatnot, but the majority of them
Yeah, we're talking
typically
on a
lean left.
we're talking in general statements here.
So the thing is, you have to have
You
all
have
for
to,
a
yeah.
cohesive society, but at the same time, you still have to be cohesive, even though you're at the odd ends of the spectrum. You have
Well,
to find common ground.
yeah, and Jordan Peterson points out, and it's funny, I agreed with this before I heard him said it, but he worded it better than I did. The left is necessary because they're the first ones to point out actual disenfranchisement that some of us just may not see. But just like if the right gets too powerful, either side gets too powerful, they start running amok because they don't consider the other side. By the way, another crypto channel or decentralization rather, DAO Vision on DAO Vision on YouTube. Buddy,
Mhm.
I'm trying to get a hold of you. I want you on my podcast, but you're not responding back to me, my friend. I need you to get back to me because I want to have you on
Oh,
because
dude.
I want to have a conversation about him. He brought up decentralizing healthcare, and I'm like, I want to have this conversation. I want to learn from you. But speaking of other podcasts, do you like Disney still for some reason? Better yet, do you like Broadway? Broadway. I know I do. I still like both of them. Disney, I tolerate more than anything right now. But guess what? There's a podcast that talks about both those things, and it's on the RTA Podcast Network. Part of Your Broadway World celebrates the world of Disney and Broadway all in one convenient and entertaining podcast. And actually, Haley's been killing it with the guests she most recently had on. I think the episode went live yesterday. She had on, I cannot remember his last name to save my life, Sincere something from the Hulu program, Death and Other Details. And then she also had the composer for the LA run, which fingers crossed will make it to Broadway, the LA theater run of Alice in Wonderland. And then prior to that, I believe she had on two former Disney parks, uh, what do you call them, cast members that are in the costumes and whatnot. So she's killing it with the guests, and it's a great podcast. You should definitely check it out. And all the other podcasts on the RTA podcast now.
But mostly.
Yeah, but
Here,
mostly,
we'll get a good shot of him. I tell you
yeah.
what, he sold 4 houses in the last month.
In this economy,
In this economy,
I
just
heard
not
one
much.
person. I heard one person paid in Bitcoin too.
I remember when they were what was it? Elon Musk was at one point allowing people to buy cars with Bitcoin. And I didn't he change his mind on that? Or no, what was it? Dogecoin?
It was Dogecoin, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was funny.
Which I
Well, I
think
feel bad for that Doge millionaire. I wonder if he's still a millionaire. Well, actually, well, yeah. Doge was what was Doge at its highest? Like 60 some odd, no, 72, I believe it was its
72 cents.
yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right because I don't think it's never hit. Everybody was like, if it just hits a dollar.
Shit. I was like, dude, I didn't spend that much on this. And I was like, it's sitting at this. I was like, I'm cool.
So I know you can't do it now, but I have an idea. If this crypto ride keeps going, maybe you could do a quick show every week. Average Intelligence Crypto
Going over
Corner.
everything? Absolutely.
I mean, it wouldn't have to be very long. It's basically just crypto news and speculation.
Yeah.
Fuck,
And
people got rich doing it. Why can't we do it? Damn it! Because I hate to break it to everybody, nobody knows what the fuck is going on with crypto.
yeah, and then start a Discord of old buying and selling tactics. I mean, because the thing, but the thing is, a lot of people charge for them, Tate, and it's like, listen, if you truly care for your fellow man, Tate, make it free.
Well, but it's at that point it would be reciprocal though, because if somebody, notices a trend, they can alert everyone, and then literally everyone wins. Because if like if I noticed and had a Discord server to put it, hey, Badger's gone up 400, Badger's going up, it's up 200% and it's going more.
No, no. See, the thing is, it's all dependent upon like if it's your Discord server versus Tate's. Like
Mhm.
like what I'm basically meaning is if you're popular,
I'm talking about
yeah.
yours.
Well, yeah, mine. It's not gonna be as popular as Tate's. Like
Well,
so, the
yeah,
thing is, we would be able to get away with it
but
being
yours is
free.
also free.
Tate, you're right. You're right. I'll give you that.
So
Sorry.
just because I'm trying to do average intelligence news weekly. I didn't this week because I knew we were going to do this on Wednesday or Thursday. And then sometimes I'm just busy, but I think because damn it, we need more content. We need more long form content views. So I figure little shows like that can definitely help. So maybe instead, because I had played with the idea of us doing average intelligence news twice a week, me once, you once. Maybe we do news and crypto once a week ish.
Well, we can figure something out because honestly, it doesn't even news doesn't even have to be news. It could be like you remember our extra credit in information technology. Essentially, just
Yeah, you
talk about
could.
something. Just talk about whatever, like basically just have something to talk about, have bullet points, and then just shoot the shit.
Yeah, but
You
with the end goal, and again, we're not sugarcoating this because that's the difference between
know.
us and a lot of other people is we don't lie to you. Like the goal is simple. We're trying to get more views because we're trying to get monetized. But ironically, when we get monetized, we can produce better content for you, the viewers. And maybe we can start getting paid fucking finally. But yeah, I
One
like
of
your
these
idea.
days.
I like your idea. I like that idea doing that and then kind of sort of trying to build up a Discord server. Um,
Well, yeah, because I was actually thinking about a few different segments that I'm wanting to do. Of course, I'm stuck in waiting mode right now with everything, but I want to do like a technology, like exactly, almost exactly what we did in our high school course. Basically, just bringing up new technology stuff and talking about that because a lot of people are not up to date on that stuff. Like they don't even know. Like I've had conversations with people and they're just like, "What's CERN?" I'm just like, how do you not know?
well, and the best thing is we have the best name ever because all we have to do is do AI and then whatever the first. So AI, average intelligence news is AIN, average intelligence technology is AIT, average intelligence crypto corner AIC or AICC. Like and I'm telling you, we did not think about that beforehand. I think we've been doing it for 2 months before we noticed that AIP was ape.
I think I know. Yeah, I think you noticed it first, right?
I think I did, but yeah, neither one of us clicked. And so I was like, I mean, it's not spelled the same, but it makes the same sound. That's a homonym.
Well, actually, I think it had something to do with AMC because we were I remember because AMC we were calling each other apes and basically saying apes together strong. That was a
Yeah,
huge
but that
thing
was
with
AP,
AMC
but
holders.
that was APE though. Like that was the whole like when
Yeah,
Caesar has the
APE.
Buckingham.
No, but that's what I'm saying. It wasn't like AIP. It was APE. And then
Yeah.
I was just like apes.
Yeah.
Ape. I mean,
Oh
I
yeah,
didn't.
yeah, yeah.
You did. But I'm saying
I think it was the crypto episode though, now that you mention it. But
honestly, I bet we could probably find it.
oh no, I know exactly where it would be. Yeah. But
Suppose
you
to
can
record it
find it because everything, well, almost everything is on YouTube, save for one episode, which you can find on Spotify and Rumble.
and
Flying with
never
Delta.
left.
I was so
What?
proud of that
What are you talking
episode title.
about? The bulk of the cap went away. Well, yeah. So some of them are growing. They're not all the same.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like I was saying at the beginning, though, is like if you look at If you look at, even though Bitcoin dipped huge, if you look at Bitcoin on a 5 year trend, you're better off now than you were 5 years ago. And that's just statistically true for virtually any halfway decent investment, including the stock market. That's true. A whole
Yeah.
country does use it.
I actually had I believe I had Bitcoin in 2014 back when it was worth shit and yeah, sold it.
How
Didn't
pissed
want it
off?
dead.
Yeah, how pissed off is the guy who sold like 200 Bitcoin for two large pizzas?
I mean, dude was feeding his family.
I don't think he was feeding his family as
But
much
at the
as he
same
just
time, I'm
did.
like, why would you buy pizzas, dog? Or like, why wouldn't you sell it to somebody for like $60 and hit the grocery store? Because back then it was you could actually buy some food.
Back then it was worth less than a cent.
Hey, bro, I wouldn't buy Bitcoin right now. It's at a high.
Well,
I
but
would wait. Let it
I'd
drop.
buy some, before the halving.
Ah, that's true. That's true.
That's what I was just about to say. Probably not a good time to buy Bitcoin. And I'm like, the halving's coming up.
Yeah, because producing less, so therefore the supplies should be worth a little more. Can't believe, dude.
I think you'll see a jump,
60K for one.
bro. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna make a prediction. I'm gonna make a bold prediction.
120.
I was gonna say 90. I was gonna say I think Bitcoin's gonna break 90. Screw it. You know what? By the end of 2024, I think Bitcoin will get to 100K.
I don't think so.
Really?
I have the exact opposite. I think Bitcoin will shoot back down to about 25, maybe 30.
I said by the end of the year.
Well, oh, end of the year.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I don't think it's gonna do it overnight. And I'll be honest, if Trump wins, I think it will especially go over 100K. Shall we make a wager?
No.
A
I'll
wager
do
is
a
like,
gentleman's wager.
yeah, $1.
$1. There we go. Okay, so I'm not going to say specifics like I know for sure, but I'm definitely going to say Bitcoin at least under 30K, Ethereum under 1,000. Doge is probably going to drop back down. I mean, it's not like up high right now, but I
It'll
imagine like
drop down
12
even
cents.
more. Yeah.
Um, by the end of the year, I say that's where we're heading because
Ooh. I don't know, man.
like
It's an
I
election
don't know.
year
I,
and
I
there's a
don't feel like things are
halving.
getting better. Well, because the thing is, the powers that be, man,
They're not.
they're going to make it worse for us.
But that's why crypto will go up because the dollar is going to go down. And it's an election year, which historically speaking, it doesn't even matter which way the election's
But
trending.
crypto has to be tied to a fiat currency because that's what you spend in your country.
Yeah, okay,
You can't
okay,
pay
I
your
see.
mortgage with crypto.
I know, but okay, so how do I don't have the words for this. So it's kind of no, it's kind of like when gold, it's kind of like how gold goes up when the dollar goes down. Even though you can't spend gold to pay your mortgage,
Well, because there's, I mean, the thing is, there is a finite amount of gold on the planet,
there's a finite
but
amount of Bitcoin on the
you
planet.
have to find it,
You have to mine it.
mine it.
It's
I don't know.
almost like they knew what they were doing.
It's the digital age, dude. It's Tron.
Well, no, but I mean that's literally Bitcoin is essentially just a digital version of gold. That's what it is. It's a hedge against inflation among many other things because Bitcoin also has technological utility. I mean, fuck, it invented the blockchain, which you know, deny it if you must, but the blockchain technology changed computing. It's being used in many places now.
God, I wish I wasn't. I wish I wasn't stupid back then. Like, I wish I would have been more up to date on this stuff. Like, that stuff is life changing, and it changed a lot of people's lives. Like, there are people around our country that are literally crypto rich because they did something out of the ordinary and they got
Well,
rewarded.
and there was some tulip farmer in the 1600s that just happened to have a bunch of tulips and made hundreds of dollars, which back then might as well have been millions.
Hmm.
Like, dude, I mean, to put this into perspective, people were insurance companies saw huge gains because people would want to insure their boats because they were transporting these damn tulip bulbs. Like, it was crazy. it was insane. Read about it. It's very fascinating. The tulip bubble. I think there's a book called The Tulip Bubble, but I could be wrong.
Zetula bubble.
I know there's books about it. I just can't remember the name of the book. But yeah. But to bring it back to center, like
The
the thing
Dutch
about
tulip bulb market
yeah.
was a period in Dutch Golden Age during which contract prices for some of the tulip bulbs reached extraordinarily high levels and then dramatically collapsed in February 1637. 1637, we had bulbs that were worth, holy man, I tell you,
Well, once people realized they were just fucking flowers,
like imagine society without electricity. That's 1637.
but we're gonna spend a shit ton of money on. But it's funny, people weren't actually buying tulip bulbs; they were buying futures. Like all these things are the same, but it's just a little bit
In
different. The same thing.
1637,
Yeah, it was the first big bubble.
futures in 1637, I thought that
hmm
was a recent thing.
Oh no, 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 no. Futures actually, I believe that was the first time futures had been outside of interest, because banking is older than that even.
Yeah.
But I believe that was the first time that futures were sold. I could be wrong, but I think that was the earliest time. But what I was going to say is like you remember the .com bubble? We were alive then. Like
Mhm.
even to a point, just a domain can still be worth a lot of money. Like there are people that actually buy up and trade domains. Like for example, I think there was a shit, what was it? It's not transform. I don't know why I'm thinking Transformers, but basically if you find out that a property is being licensed for a movie somehow and you can get to it before that, which good luck now, but in the early days this was more common. So like I'm just using this as an example. Let's say that the Transformers movie, you get word that they're talking about doing a Transformers movie. So you go out and buy transformersmovie.com and you're able to do it because it's not owned yet. Well, when the studio goes to make their
Mm.
website, now all of a sudden, oh, somebody owns that domain. Now, we could be lame and be like
Shit, transformersfilm.com.
right,
Then somebody
but
owns that.
well, but so let's say they do that. Let's say they do transformersfilm.com. Most people are still going to go to Transformers movie and then like you can be a real son of a bitch and let's say that you don't get an offer to buy your domain, but you still have transformersmovie.com, you start putting all kinds of just shit talk on that website.
Oh, dude, because people are going to go to it.
Exactly, because people are going to go to Transformers, or let's say that you own transformers.com.
Dude, that's a quick way to make like 50, 60K.
A lot of people did. Good luck now, but there are still, you can still check. Um, I forget the name of it. There's a site you can go on and search for domains or even domain keywords and see which ones are going to expire soon so that you can
I
go
remember I
ahead.
used to see domains for sale all the time. I was like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, and
I'm
then
gonna
there's
buy
a
them.
I forget the name too, but like you can look up the value of your domain. artemedia.org is already worth like 400 bucks based upon, so they base that upon like the SEO and the content and the engagement, which 400
Mhm.
bucks for a website that's been online for a few years is not really all that great. But like bogercabinetry.com, for example, last time I looked at it, it was worth about $8,000. And that's probably gone up now because now there's an e-commerce element.
Wow.
So we actually bought indianapoliskitchencabinets.com and just rerouted it to Boger Cabinetry, but the domain was available and it cost us like $24. And one of our main competitors is Indie Cabinetry. So, oh, I'm sorry. No, we bought Indianapolis Kitchen Cabinets from somebody else, but then we looked up indiecabinets.com
So
and it was
wait,
for sale.
that's the fucking reason why when I go to a website and it gets routed to somewhere else, that's fucking why?
Yep.
Bitches. That's
Yep. So
clever.
somebody else bought. Well, before I had the website proper, artemedia.org, because I own the domain, artemedia.org just went to my YouTube channel for a long time.
Yeah.
It just rerouted it. Now it actually goes to the website.
Well, how much more are you wanting to do? I'm starting to
I was
cramp
going to
up.
say we're pretty much coming to the end of the conversation, but I mean, I guess so. You're saying that crypto is going to dip by the end of the year. I'm saying that it's going to rise big time by the end of the year. I think
The only reason I say it's going to dip is because, like, and I say they with a heavy, heavy they. I feel like they're gonna make it worse for every avenue. They're not gonna like allow anyone an out. Like, does that make sense? Like, if
They
anyone
can
buys up
try.
any of the crypto that's like left, it's going to be people in power.
Oh, yeah, maybe, but even so, when they buy it, it makes the price go up.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, they could literally just sell it and then screw everybody, because that's what a lot of people did. They would literally freaking buy up all the coin and then just dump it. You know, they would get a bunch of people. I'm sounding retarded right now. I'm sorry. Have a bunch of people buy up all the coins and then sell their coin. Yeah. Yo.
Yo. But yeah, but I mean, I guess, yeah, if your main motivation is to screw other people, but that's a lot of money just to screw other people. I would think most people are going to buy it hoping that, they'll make a return on their investment, but
Yeah, but the thing is, you got
we'll see. We'll
shady
see.
people out there.
We'll see. We have a gentleman's agreement after all, so we'll see. That'll be fun to watch play out. What'll be really funny is if we both end up being right that
ten
by
percent,
the
10% home interest, or yeah, home rates.
that's going to come down at
I'm
least this
joking.
year. Oh well, no,
We'll
well, and
see.
that's not outside. Well, no, the reason I say that it's an election year, and they've
Been a
already
few
talked
years.
about it. Yeah, but here's the thing: it's an election year, so Biden's gonna. I
I
figure
know.
you'll start seeing that roll out, not quite yet, but closer to the election, and you'll see the Fed. It may be marginal, but the Fed is going to lower rates for at least a short period there. I think you'll see 5% at some point this year, and then it depends on who wins the election.
Boy, gee golly, isn't that just so nice of them to give us 5%
Well, hey man, I'm
when they
lucky
shouldn't have
because
fucking touched it in the first place?
I agree, but I'll
You
take
do
five.
now. You didn't previously, remember, because you were for it to bring down inflation, and it hasn't done fuck all for inflation. It's that, dude. I
Well,
literally go to
okay,
Aldi's every week, and I
I'll
see
tell you
prices
why though.
inflate in real time.
I'll tell you why it hasn't done anything to curb inflation though, because they didn't raise them. And it would have worked if they'd raised them high enough. But if they had done that, it would have been I'm not going to say a collapse, but it would
It
have
would have been a
been,
corporation feeding frenzy, and then rents are sky high.
but okay,
That's
so,
who's buying them right now.
r- so there would have been a sort of collapse, but it would have been shorter. So
Yeah,
it's the same. Like it's going to happen. What they're afraid of, though, is that if they collapse it
yeah.
during an election, and they wouldn't have done this anyway, because if they'd done this, even though it may have been the right long-term strategy, although now I'm calling into question all this Keynesian shit, um, but regardless, they wouldn't have done that even if it was going to work. They wouldn't do that when they were in
Wait, did
power
you say a
because
collapse is bound to happen and it's going to happen? Like, are you saying it needs to happen?
to balance it out in a way that won't take decades, yes,
So
and
the
it'll
thing
probably
is,
happen anyway.
you're not the first to say that. Mr. Old Daddy Trump actually said that. Do you remember?
Right, right, and
And
how do
he
I
was
say
saying to
this?
do it at a certain time. And honestly, if we would have done it at a better time, like 3 years ago,
Well, Trump counterbalanced all that by increasing the GDP, though
I
as
know.
much as he did. So a collapse is not the only way to do it, but oftentimes they end up being inevitable because they kick the can down the road too far.
Yeah.
Now, Trump circumvented that by creating the best economy or helping to create the best economy that we've seen in a very, very long time. And as a part of that, though, the GDP went way up because mostly due to the natural gas exporting.
A win's
But
a win.
well, but as we saw though, that created a real estate bubble. Now, again, this one was somewhat different because you have normally in a real estate bubble, you have, or any kind of bubble, you have one or two things. You have a lack of inventory or you have an increase
Next.
in demand.
Mm.
Now, this one had both. So it was weird. But it was also, and then it was exacerbated by the pandemic because of building materials going up. So nobody was actually losing money. It was just harder to get the thing. It was way harder to get the thing, and thus the thing became more expensive. Now, had things turned more naturally, you would have eventually seen the demand for houses go down because the prices were too high, and then everything would have evened out. So I'm not even saying a collapse necessarily in a bad way, more like a return to equilibrium. but that didn't happen because of the pandemic. And now you've got increased mortgage rates, which there's always demand for houses because people always need a place to live. The difference is now that rates are back up in like the sevens, people are looking and saying, I mean, yeah, somebody's offering me a lot of money for my house, but then I'll have to buy a new house at that new rate. And a lot of people got locked into those 3% rates, so they're just chilling.
I
So
know.
I think,
I've been trying to get someone to just take over my loan. I'm like, just hand me 25K and you can just assume the loan. I was like, my loan is assumable. You could have 3% interest.
and actually, that might be the way to do it.
I mm, I don't want to get into it.
Oh,
I always
is
get
your realtor saying no?
no, it's not that. I'm yeah. Well, I'll talk to you after
Yeah.
for a second.
But yeah,
My
and
butt's hurt.
I want to also clarify one thing. This is not financial advice. We're both morons. I said it before, I'll say it again. We're called average intelligence, and we have our logo is a chimp in a suit for a reason. But we've done some things. We've each bought multiple houses. We've each sold multiple houses. We've each invested in certain small scale things. You used to mine crypto, so you know a lot more about it than I do. But I'm happy we didn't let go of our helium miners.
Oh
A,
yeah, this
a lot of
it's actually making a little bit of money.
I was gonna say it's not bad, and I never
Not a
with the
lot, but
helium.
at least like
Well, with
six,
the
seven
helium,
bucks every month or two.
if not more than that on good months. But the helium miners never, I never intended that to be like a get rich thing. I always intended that to be just like
Little
small
pocket
monthly.
spending money,
Yeah, which is what it is, and it's great. It's fantastic.
considering it
And
costs like less than $5 a year to run.
well, not only that is now with crypto starting to come back up, you can now use that crypto to buy into other crypto, and
No, honestly, dude, with crypto coming back up, hold on to your helium. Hell yeah.
that
Well, and actually, you don't actually
it
mine
went
helium
down
with it
today.
now. Remember, if
Yeah.
we don't mine helium, you don't get helium now for your reward. You get IoT,
Yep.
but you can transfer it to helium, and then you can transfer it out of there. It's like, oh,
But you know what? That might just be a gimmick to get more gas fees within the Solana network. But
that's how these people make that's how they make money. They
exactly,
get you
and
with that shit, and then they do this, and then they just never ending cycle.
but it's okay because one, they can't hide it because they show the gas fees, and the gas fees are thousandths of a cent. Like it's not. I
Some
get
of
it.
them.
Some, yeah, that's true.
I
Some of
was
them.
trying to make a transaction on Trust Wallet, and it was trying to charge me $169 to send $5.
Well, that's stupid.
I changed the slippage. I did everything that I know to do, and it still did not change. And I was even on the blockchain that it was meant to be, and this and that, and everything was correct. I was like, yeah, no, no. I was like, I guess my Doge is gonna stay in there now. It's forever
I
in
guess.
trust. In trust we Doge. All
Well,
right, I need to get off.
everyone. Yep, everyone. What is your crypto of choice? Let us know in the comments.
Oh, also predictions. What do you think? I mean, I don't know. Yeah, yeah, predictions. Tell us your predictions of any coins for the next year,
You know what I'm gonna
2025.
do because I'm playing now with more of the YouTube community tab. I'm gonna put a poll up. Which one of us
January.
do you think is right? And we'll see. We'll see. Like I said, gentleman's agreement. I have a feeling I'll probably be paying you a dollar. But what will be funny is if we both end up being
Honestly,
right.
I think everybody's going to go more towards you because the thing is, if Trump's running and he's most likely, like, if he doesn't win, there truly is probably something up. But if he
Well, no
gets
one.
in,
Yeah.
I think you're going to be correct. But I don't think they're going
Well,
to let him.
what's really funny about that? I don't know if they'll be able to stop him, truthfully. But what'll be funny though is if we're both right. Where if I see it rise to 100K and then Biden wins and it just crashes back down to 25.
That would be fucking horrible. Yeah, but yeah. Oh, that would be terrible.
At that point, we'll just rip the dollar in half.
I mean, we halved it. It's worth more now, right?
It's that. Not really. Actually, it's worth the same because all you would have to do is mail that to the U.S. Treasury and then they send you a check for a dollar. That's true, actually.
You know, the thing is, though, banks are supposed like if you're a member there, like now there are some banks that will take your dollar, but like if you have ripped currency, like you can just take it to a bank for the most part.
Because
Um,
what they do is they just send it to the treasury, but you can do that yourself
yeah, but screw
if you.
that. I
Yeah, I know.
I pay a bank for a reason.
I don't pay a bank.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I do
I don't
because
pay them either because I have direct deposits and whatnot, so it took away all the associated fees.
yeah, but actually, you made me think. I wonder what my savings account interest rate is at right now.
0.15.
No, I mine's at least 4.
4%
Hmm. Hang on, let me look.
yearly?
4.25%.
That's not too bad.
No, that's pretty damn good now, which it doesn't sound like a lot, but when you consider most savings accounts are at about 0.15. But I have a Discover Bank, a high yield savings account, which let's see. I wonder what was my last interest payout. My last interest payment was $15.20.
Damn. Yeah, I saw a post just recently. Someone said, "What would you do with $100,000 if you're given to you now?" I said, "I'd put that shit in a high savings yield account and just live off the money, and
I'd put
then
it in
literally
a
whatever ventures I do on my own, boom."
I would take, well, because there's yearly caps. So what I would do, $100,000. I don't remember exactly what the number is, but I think it's so I'd take 5 grand right out of the gate, put it in an IRA because I think that's the
That's
year.
4 grand a year.
I think is
That's
it
not a
4 year?
lot. Well,
Well,
I
but
mean,
there's only
with what you have, 4%.
oh no I'm talking about a Roth IRA, which I think the annual max you can deposit is it's 5 or 6 grand. I can't remember. Let's call it 5 grand. So then you got 95,000. I'd take 40 grand of that and live off of it for a year because that's actually I could probably do 30, but I'd live very comfortably with 40 grand. So say 40 grand. Then I got 55,000 left.
Got to
I'd
factor in
probably
those Kings Island trips.
take 5 grand out for fun shit. Fuck that. Take 10 grand out for fun shit. So 45,000, then I'd probably take that 45,000, throw it in an index fund and get 7% returns every year on average to start.
Yeah. And then literally that money that if you don't take the profits and they go into the same account, so they accrue.
Hmm. That's compound interest, baby. Actually, no,
Compound.
I'd take another 10 grand out of that. So I'd put 35,000 in an index fund. I'd take 10 grand and throw it into Bitcoin before the halving if I got it to $100,000 today.
It's what I like to call sex, compound interest. Oh, oh,
Beware of
oh,
diminish
really bad.
beware of diminishing returns.
All right, people. It was fun and real, but not real fun. You're in charge.
Bye.